Sheriff. Mr. Creeps and his partner, Mr. Crawls.
I've been asked to make a video on plot twists since just about the beginning of this channel, but I was always hesitant to do it because I didn't want to spoil a bunch of major plot twists. I stood by this principle until I came across an interesting study conducted by UC San Diego. Researchers had one group of participants read several famous books after the researchers spoiled their endings, while another group read the books normally. After reading, each group noted how much they liked each book. Based on the results, it turns out that if the ending is spoiled to you before you read a book, you actually end up liking the book more. Not only do I think this study perfectly explains what makes a plot twist great, I also like it because it helps me justify spoiling some movies. I'll have to spoil Now You See Me and Primal Fear, with The Prestige having only very minor spoilers. If you haven't seen one, consider what the study says and use this video as an opportunity to recreate the experiment. So let's get spoiling.
We are going to follow those dirty feet and find that phantom.
The common definition of a plot twist is a totally unexpected outcome to a story. In Now You See Me, Dylan Rhodes is an FBI agent trying to track down the Four Horsemen, but in a shocking twist, it turns out he was the fifth horseman all along.
Yeah.
While I do think the rest of the movie is pretty fun, there's one key reason that this plot twist doesn't really work.
Now, you and I are sitting here. Suddenly a bomb goes off.
And the FBI got past them not once, not twice, but consistently. Almost as if they were on the end.
What if the audience had, watching this scene, 5 or 10 seconds of shock?
Where are you? We got some work to do now.
Even though the original shows are pretty simple and predictable, Scooby-Doo actually adheres to an important principle of good plot twists. The final payoff always follows the established logic at the beginning of each episode.
They were trying to scare all the heirs off the island.
Then no one would spend the night, and they would keep control of the fortune.
We get just enough information in the beginning so that when the twist does happen, it's satisfying, since there was always that looming feeling that you know who did it.
Creeps and Crawls? They sure picked the right lawyers for this job.
The Now You See Me twist has this element missing. It follows very little established logic. The complete rewriting of the character from a clumsy FBI agent to a cunning genius means there was really no way to see this plot twist coming, and that's why it's not very satisfying and relies too heavily on shock. The Prestige is the perfect balance between the shock value of the Now You See Me twist and the predictable but logical twists of Scooby-Doo. 20 minutes into the movie, we've technically been told enough to predict the plot twist, but Christopher Nolan leaves just enough information out to make the ending an amazing shock that still follows established logic.
Now, we do the scene over again. But we tell the audience there's a bomb underneath this table and it's going to go off in 5 minutes.
You're looking for the secret, but you won't find it. Because, of course, you're not really looking.
The best plot twist is the one that can create the biggest surprise without ruining the established logic. Because at the end of the day, the twist in Now You See Me isn't actually that satisfying. It's a complete rewrite of his character for a cheap surprise. It's not particularly interesting to change 100% of a character's personality that has been built up throughout the whole movie. So how do you do this in a surprising but also entertaining way? In Primal Fear, the plot twist is similar but with one key difference. In the movie, an altar boy is accused of murdering an archbishop, and the lawyer gets him off not guilty by reason of insanity, because the boy tests positive for multiple personality disorder. The film ends with a final scene before the altar boy is moved to a psychiatric hospital. Here he reveals he faked it the whole time to get a short sentence.
There never was an Aaron counselor.
It may seem like pure shock, but this ending is actually carefully woven into the logic of the story. Throughout the movie, we're not sure which personality he is or when he's about to change his identity. So we've always had this feeling that he wasn't who he says he was, but the shock is still fantastic because we go from being on his side to him tricking everybody in the story, including us, and switching to an antagonist at the very end. We got the information, but it's still a surprise, and it's what separates the good plot twists from the bad ones.
In order to get suspense, you provide the audience with a certain amount of information
Come on, Marty, I thought you had it figured there at the end.
and leave the rest of it to their own imagination.
But to tell you the truth, I'm glad you figured it. Because I have been dying to tell you.
Give them just enough to see it coming, but not enough to expect it.
I see dead people.
I think the best way to test a good plot twist is if the movie is rewatchable, because once you know the twist ending, if the ending is a good one, then it's just as fun, if not more fun, to go back and see where they hint at that twist ending.
Are you watching closely?
And I think that's why the study shows how spoiling a book before reading it makes it more enjoyable. The suspense of the ending makes the path getting there that much more exciting. And maybe that's why lots of stories spoil the ending at the very beginning.
And me, I'm the damn fool that shot him.
Because as much as it's about the plot twist, it's about how you get there. So feel free to watch something, even if you know how it ends. Because who knows, maybe you'll like it even more.
Well, bring the dog and come in. The others are waiting inside.
Yes, sir.
Go.
Thanks for watching.